Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ramonepreston Show. This is the day that the Lord has made. We are rejoicing and we are glad in it. If you're coming on, joining me live, do me a quick favor, hit the like button, hit that share button, and I need you to tag doggone Lolly Dolly, everybody, and let them know your boy Ramonepreston, my squad, we are all live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. Again, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to the Ramonepreston Show. Today is Millionaire Monday. That's what we call it, Millionaire Monday, October the 9th, 2023. You're watching the Ramonepreston Show. Hit the like button, hit the share button, tag Lolly Dolly, everybody, and let them know your boy and my squad, we're live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. Listen, this is the day that the Lord has made. I'm already rejoicing. I'm glad in it. I'm super excited about today's show because we're going to be talking about holding company essentials. I think by now, if you followed me enough, if you watch our show or if you look at some of the videos and the content that we put out on a daily basis, you should know by now one of the biggest things that we talk about is holding companies. That's what me and my team we do most of the time in our business. We have a consulting, coaching, and educational company, and that's probably like the biggest topic that most people that reach out to us want more information on, okay? The holding company. I'm a small business owner. I'm an entrepreneur of 20 years, and I personally think that when you want to come up, even as a solopreneur or small business owner, if you have the right information and knowledge, and you know how to put that information and knowledge to practice strategically, you're going to have an advantage over a lot of people who are doing business in the marketplace. And the more strategic you can be, the better off you're gonna become as a small business owner. So I'm saying that because for me personally, not just in my own experience in business, but just in the results that I've seen with people that I work with, when you set up a holding company and you create subsidiaries under your holding company, and you're able to use that holding company concept as leverage as a small business owner, it just gets you further quicker. That's what I've seen in my own business, and that's what I've seen in the lives of a lot of people that we work with. So with that being said, I want to talk about holding company essentials. Like, what is essential? What are the most essential things that you need to be thinking about if you are interested in starting a holding company, or if you have a LLC that's already existing, but you want to utilize the holding company concept. And so we're just going to talk about a few essentials. It's so much to talk about when it comes to holding companies, but I want to just talk about the most important things. That's why I'm calling today's show, the title is Holding Company Essentials. A lot of things you can learn over time, all right? Like any other concept, okay? These are concepts and principles that you have to learn over time, and as you learn them, you start implementing them. There's a reason why most of the biggest companies in the world are holding companies. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why companies like Facebook and Instagram restructure and reorganize their enterprises, and they create entities like Meta, which is a holding company. There's a reason why YouTube and Google restructured, and they created Alphabet as a holding company, and they put YouTube and Google under it. So they're doing it on massive levels. Most of the big banks and insurance companies that you do business with are holding companies. You're probably doing business with one of their divisions or subsidiaries. And so my thing is this: even though you see these bigger corporations and these massive organizations using the holding company for leverage and for maximization of profits and minimization of taxes, even though you see it happening on a massive level with these major corporations, you can still use this concept as a solopreneur. You could still use this concept if you just a stay-at-home parent, or if you in between jobs, or if you got a job and you're just doing a side hustle. Why not get the most out of whatever you're doing? Why not leverage business concepts and principles that can change and transform your life? See, when I was on the come up as an entrepreneur, I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of credit. I didn't have a lot of connections. I didn't have a lot of resources. I ain't have a whole lot of nothing. And that's where I ran across concepts like the holding company, because I realized, okay, Ramon, if you gonna get to the next level, ain't nobody gonna help you. Nobody's gonna give you no handout. Nobody ain't gonna co-sign for you. No bank is gonna give you no loan. You're just not gonna get it like that, bro. So you can either sit here and pout and huff and puff, or you can figure out how can you, as an entrepreneur, leverage information and knowledge. And that's when I ran across concepts like the holding company. And when I started utilizing those concepts in terms of how I structure my business, how I integrate the right systems, and then how I position myself in the marketplace with it, that's when I started seeing a little bit momentum. And so again, today we're just talking about holding company essentials, all right? So what are some of the essentials to a holding company? Well, number one is filing and forming your paperwork, okay? So when you think about a holding company, I want you to understand your holding company can be a LLC. That's a very common way to structure a business today. And one of the reasons why most people go with the LLC, I'm not a tax person, I'm not a lawyer, I'm an entrepreneur that works with tax people and lawyers, so I know this to be true. Most people go with a LLC today, no matter what type of LLC it is, whether it's a restaurant business, whether it's a landscaping business, whether it's like a hair business, or an apparel business, whatever the business is, most people commonly go with the LLC because you can treat it as a partnership or a disregarded entity or S Corp or C Corp for tax purposes. So that's something your tax person could give you information on. Of course, if you have tax people and lawyers that you could talk to before you set your LLC up, it's best to talk to them first so that you don't do anything that you shouldn't do and mess it up, all right? But for all of us who are do-it-yourselfers, like I created my own holding company. I set up my own LLC, and when I went to my tax person and my lawyer after the fact, once I started making money, they looked through all of my paperwork and they looked through my structure, and they didn't say anything about it. But again, I had a little more knowledge about it because I had been in the game long enough to know my way around setting this up. So the first essential to your holding company is filing and forming your paperwork, okay? So no different than any other LLC. You gonna go get your EIN number from the IRS. You're gonna get your Secretary of State articles of organization from your state Secretary of State portal, right? And the only difference between setting up a regular LLC and a holding company LLC is the language that you're gonna use when you obtain your EIN and when you obtain your articles of organization. I hope I'm making sense. It's just the language. So for example, if I go to the IRS website to go get an EIN for an LLC that I want to start, okay? If it's a restaurant business, I'm gonna categorize it as a restaurant, okay? If it's an apparel business, I'm gonna categorize it as apparel. If it's a landscaping business, I'm gonna categorize it as a landscaping business. If it's a holding company, you ain't gonna see no categorization for holding companies, but there's gonna be an area where you can specifically state that this EIN number that you're attaching to a LLC in a specific state is for the purpose of a holding company or holding assets, businesses, and investments. So that's gonna be essential. When you go to the Secretary of State to file your paperwork for your LLC in the state that you're doing business in, some states have an area or a NAICS code. They have a category where you can specifically put what the industry is, right? So no different than any other LLC. If it's a restaurant, you're gonna click that. If it's a landscaping business, you click that. If it's construction, If it's a holding company, some states have a category or NAICS code set up for the holding company, okay? A lot of states don't. I've worked with clients in a lot of different states that don't have it. So if they have it, you want to make sure that you specify it just to align and coincide with what you did with your EIN number on your SS4 form. But if they don't have it, don't worry about it. You can easily put any business purpose, or they may have an optional provision, like a little section where if you don't see the industry or the category for this LLC that you're getting the articles for, you can easily type in, if they give you that option, it's like an optional provision, put in there holding company for businesses, assets, and investments. It's simple as that. So that's going to be essential. That's the filing. That's the file and form. That's the file and form side of your holding company. Now, for all of you who are starting holding companies or want to start a holding company, and you already have an existing LLC, you already got a business out there, you started your business, but you have just learned this new concept of a holding company, and now you want to reposition your enterprise and you want to parlay and leverage this type of concept. Don't worry. When you set up your holding company, once you get all your paperwork back and you get it all situated, you can easily transfer the ownership of that existing LLC from you, because you put yourself as the owner probably, and you can transfer the ownership to your new holding company, because the goal is for you to only own one company. You want to own the holding company, and you want your holding company to own all these other companies. So the first essential for your holding company will be the filing and the forming of the paperwork. And listen, if you're watching this show today, we only have about 30 minutes. We go from about 12 to 12:30. It's almost 12:20. And you understand what I'm saying, but you feel like it's something that you might not have the ability to do yourself. All you have to do is just reach out to me and my team. By the time we get to the end of today's show, my concierge, they will put information in the comments. You can easily take that number and reach out to me if you have any questions about filing and forming your holding company EIN number, filling out the SS4 form. If you have any questions about drafting your articles of organization for your LLC holding company in your Secretary of State, just reach out to me, and my team and I will be more than happy to answer any of the questions you have. So the first essential to your holding company is filing and forming the paperwork. And it ain't a deal breaker if you mess this up. I mean, it's just not a deal breaker. It ain't like, you're going to go to jail just because you messed up something on the paperwork. I mean, it happens every day, okay? But you want to do your best to do it the right way, especially if you're not in a financial position to pay an attorney or to pay a tax person or somebody who specializes in structuring businesses, and you, like me, you want to kind of do it yourself. You at least need to get courses and get information to know your way around how to file and form the paperwork correctly, and the language that you need to use when you're setting up entities like a holding company, LLC, and even operating companies, LLCs, okay? So that's the first essential. The first essential is filing and forming your paperwork. The second essential will be to draft your operating agreement, okay? Draft your operating agreement. And I'm just gonna put OA for operating agreement, okay? We do have samples of operating agreements. We have a couple different versions for single member entities, for multi-member entities. So if you don't have a draft for an operating agreement, we do have those agreements inside of our educational platform, the Millionaire Blueprint. If you need access to one of those, or if you just want to Google operating agreement, Google it. I'm sure some sample is going to come up and you can just kind of copy and paste, but you just want to make sure that the language in that operating agreement is feasible for what you're putting together, especially if it's a holding company. And even if it's an operating company, Definitely if it involves more than just you, if it's somebody else and other people that you're involving. So the second essential is drafting your operating agreement. Of course, the next essential would be your bank account. Your bank account. And this is a very common question I get from people all the time. I just talked to 2 different clients last week who asked me this question about setting up their bank account for their holding company. So this is 2 clients I talked to last week. We set their holding company up, which means that we filed and formed the paperwork for them. We got their EIN. We drafted their operating agreement, and we got their articles, and we delivered back to them their holding company, LLC, and we had a couple of them that we delivered their operating companies. So the next step, once you get these 2 done, will be getting your bank account. Now, again, people always ask me these questions like, what bank should I bank with? I mean, like, every bank has their own little rules and regulations. If you got a relationship with a credit union, open up a bank account with a credit union. I feel like this. If you got a decent credit score and you know you got some personal guarantee power where you can get some lines of credit or some credit cards or some business funding with your business through your own personal guarantee of credibility, like, one bank might not be enough. You might need 3, 4 different bank accounts. So I'm not the credit guru. I'm not the banking and funding and lending guru. That's not my thing. But I just like to tell people every bank has their own criteria. I have relationships with bankers and lenders for business, for personal, and for real estate. And they always tell me the same thing. Every bank has their own underwriting criteria, meaning that you can walk in this bank and ask this bank, what do I need to do to get a loan? They're going to have a criteria. You walk in this credit union or this bank and ask them, what do I need to get a loan? Personal loan, business loan, real estate loan. Everybody going to have their own criteria. They got their own boxes that they need to check. So my point is, whatever bank accounts work for you, maybe you want to go into these banks or call them and reach out to them and tell them, hey, I just set up a holding company. I have an operating company. If you do, let them know what type of structure you have and ask them what type of accounts would work best for this, what type of programs or, what type of credit lines or credit cards that they have to offer. What financing or lending programs do they have that could work for that? You might find out that they have something that works for you and it might not work for somebody else, okay? So that's an essential, but don't make it no big deal. Just make sure that you find out what their criteria is. I know people who, I just had someone I talked to the other day who they have a relationship with a credit union, but there's something else that they wanted to do with their holding company enterprise, and the credit union told them that they won't recognize that. They don't honor that. So one person will say, oh, credit union's the best. But here's a client that I had that said, yeah, they good, but over here, they don't want to work with me with this other thing that I want to do under my holding company. So that's why I said, just figure out what the bank's criteria are. What are they underwriting criteria, okay? Now, of course, I'm not going to make this an essential. But I would say just on the financial side with the banking, you definitely want to make sure that you have your DUNS account, and maybe you want to get like a NAV account if you want to start creating some credibility. Okay, so it's a DUNS number. You want to get like a NAV account. They have a lot of different companies that favor businesses, but those are 2 of the most popular ones. You get a Duns and Bradstreet number. You get a NAV account. You're going to pay a little bit for the NAV account, but at least you're able to start creating some credibility and generating some activity through your business. And I'm not even going to the trade line stuff because, again, that's not my strong suit. So I do it, I have it, but I don't make a big deal about it because I focus a lot of my time on sales and marketing as opposed to just trying to, finesse my credit, my credit profile in a way to get credit. I don't mind doing it, but I'm not going to put a whole lot of my time and energy towards it like I am sales and marketing. And so if there was a 4th essential, I would say that fourth essential would be your products and services. So your products and services are going to either be running through your holding company if they're like intellectual products and services, or they're going to run through a subsidiary that you set up under your holding company because you have certain things that you want to provide in the form of products and services. So P&S would be an essential, and the last essential I would say would be systems and processes. So I'm just shortening it. So if you were to ask me, like, what are the most important things, like what are the essentials to a holding company, I would say filing and forming your paperwork, making sure that when you get your EIN and your articles of organization, you use the right language so that you're clear that this is an actual LLC that's being used primarily for holding assets, businesses, and investments. Essential number 2 would be drafting your operating agreement. Your operating agreement is like your constitution. It ain't like nobody see your operating agreement. You're just going to draft it, sign it, and then you're going to file it. You can notarize it if you want to. If it's just you as a single member owner, you put it in your file. At least you have your operating agreement. And essential number 3 is your bank account. This would include your Duns and Bradstreet and maybe your NAV account, just to start establishing credibility. Number 4 essential would be products and services. Like, what exactly are you going to sell? Don't just set no holding company up and then 3 years from now, when I talk to you and you tell me, oh, I still got my holding company. Okay, so what have you done the last 3 years? Well, I ain't did nothing yet. You need to generate activity. So your products and services, you're going to have either intellectual products and services that you're running through your holding company, and or you're going to have other products and services that's running through other subsidiaries. And then the 5th essential will be systems and processes. You're going to have your systems and processes. Your holding company is going to have a separate QuickBooks account. If you have a subsidiary, it needs a QuickBooks account. All your other systems and processes for sales and marketing and administration and your executive activities, all of those can actually be in the same system. The only system you're going to need to separate when you have a holding company and operating companies is your financial system, your QuickBooks account. All right, so these are the holding company essentials. For all of you that are watching today's show, if you are not a part of a mentorship program, if you do not have a coach, if you don't have a professional consultant that you're working with to help you engineer your business enterprise, to help you integrate your systems and processes, to help you flesh through and filter what type of products and services you need and how to really expand your business, I, as a business and financial consultant, coach, and educator, I've put together an all-inclusive program called the Millionaire Mentorship Program. It includes an accelerated version of consulting, coaching, and education for you to help you engineer a $1 million business. It's a 1-year accelerated program. It includes the Millionaire Blueprint, which is our educational program. This gives you access to all of the educational content we have for starting and structuring holding companies. Everything I just shared with you, we have all the videos, the tutorials, the documents and the forms available. We make it real easy for you to learn all the ins and outs of holding companies. We answer probably a couple hundred questions that you might have about holding companies, from trust to hiring family to minimizing taxes. We answer all those questions inside of our Millionaire Blueprint. We have courses on creative tax strategies, on sales, marketing, on systems, processes, literally everything that you need to learn and do to engineer $1 million business, we have included in this Millionaire Blueprint in the form of content, videos, documents, forms, tutorials. It's a very comprehensive educational program. In our Millionaire Mentorship Program, we also give you access to 4 signature workshops. So every quarter we host a workshop, one on sales and marketing, one on financial systems, one on holding companies and operating companies, and one on small business systems and processes. So we make sure that we give you workshops every quarter to complement the education that you're getting. So once a quarter, you're able to join us in person or virtual, and we can help you with the nuts and bolts of building out your systems and your processes. Remember, this program is really about helping you engineer $1 million business. It don't mean you're gonna make $1 million in the year that you're in this program, but what it means is if you take the information I'm giving to you, and if you put it to practice and allow us to help you and work with you and support you for that year, you're gonna engineer $1 million business, all right? So it don't matter what all the activity is that you're doing. If you have not engineered the right business structure, it's probably gonna collapse when you do start getting some activity, all right? So we have a millionaire blueprint inside our mentorship. We have 4 workshops we give you. We also give you access to our coaching boot camp to show you how to start your own coaching or consulting business if that's something you're interested in. We host weekly coaching calls every Monday, just like tonight, 7:00 p.m. Eastern. We host a weekly coaching call that gives all of our mentees who are in our program an opportunity to show up, ask questions. We deep dive on certain topics. We hear success stories. And we're working on creating some exclusive networking events because I want to see people in my mentorship coaching community connect more, because I think we have a lot to offer each other. We also give you access for the whole year that you're in the program to our concierge. So if you look inside the comments right now, you'll see a number and the word mentor. That's the word that you can text to that number. These are millionaire concierges. These are people who work for our company and they stay in touch with you throughout the week. You could text them, call them, email them any day of the week, even on weekends, unless they in church shouting, they ain't gonna answer. But for the most part, they are available for you. So this entire program for 1 year is $3,500. It's a discounted price, $3,500 for an entire year of coaching, consulting, education, networking, community, workshops, boot camps. We offer it for $3,500 for the entire year. So here's the other additional offer we added. If you join this program and pay the $3,500 up front, we added as a bonus 1 free LLC. So that means we will set up a holding company for you or an operating company. We'll set up an entire LLC for you absolutely free, and we will give you 1 free one-on-one coaching session with me where we can sit down for about an hour or so and put together an entire game plan for that year. I can look under the hood of your business, see what you got going on with your systems, your processes, your structure, your prices. We look at everything and we formulate and engineer a solid game plan for the year. If $3,500 one time is something that you just can't do right now, we also have payment plan options. All you have to do is look in the comments, text the word mentor to the number you see, and we'll answer any question you have about the program, any question you have about holding companies, or whatever it is that you're doing. Here's the thing, I just don't want you to stay stuck. One of the biggest problems people have today, including entrepreneurs or small business owners, is they get exposed to certain knowledge. They listen to people like Ramonepreston. They know what they're supposed to be doing, but they never take action. They never take action. They allow certain things to become barriers. So I always tell people, don't let price, which is most of the times the biggest barrier, don't let price become the problem. I will respect you more if you just reached out to me, text the word mentor and said, listen, I don't have the $3,500 for the year. I don't even have the payment plan money if you gave me a payment plan, but I have a desire. I'm eager to learn because I want to be a millionaire. I want to be a successful business owner. I can respect you more for that than just not doing nothing and then living your life every day knowing that you are just a little bit of information and knowledge away from getting to where you want to be. So if you have any questions about holding companies or anything that we covered today, here's what I want you to do. Look in the comments, text the word mentor to the number you see, and my team and I will reach back out to you today. Also, be sure to leave a comment. Be sure to like, share. If you have not visited my YouTube page at Ramonepreston, make sure once the show ends, you go to YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We want to get to 10,000 subscribers. We have close to 9,400. So we're like 600 and something subscribers away from 10,000 on YouTube, but we need your help. So share our YouTube channel and other channels as well with family members and friends, fellow business owners. Let them know that we have a show. We share a lot of information for free on this platform and on all of the channels that we have. We want to help you get to your next level. So I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for joining the Ramon Preston Show today. We will be back. Same place, same time tomorrow, right here on the Ramon Preston Show. Look in the comments, take the number, text mentor to the number. Whether you have the $3,500 for the year or not, still text it. Give us an opportunity to speak with you and answer your questions to see if there's something we can do to help you along the way. Just don't stay stuck. All right? Tomorrow, 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time, we'll be back right here on the Ramon